Hi there, this is Rosemary, and I'm your guide and host to the Lightwalker's Path, located in New Jersey. I would like to invite my beautiful guest today, Chris Nielsen. She's going to talk about her journey and how she brings light into the world. So I hope that when our podcast ends today, you will reach out to Chris, reach out to me, and share our podcast today. So welcome, Chris. How are you?
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be your guest because you have such a large array of wonderful guests that I feel honored to be also
Oh,
on your list. So thank you so much for inviting me. I'm eager to share with you everything that we have discovered during these years because I do think that we can. We can evolve as, I don't know, as a mankind, as a species, as a planet. I don't want to use pompous words or pretentious words, but I do think that we are moving forward only if one day we manage to really work together. So,
I believe that. Yes, we are so aligned. As I was reading about your background, you're a former classical ballet dancer and communication specialist, and you've also you've had your own regression work. Do you do regression work, or you've experienced regression? I have experienced past life regression as well, so I understand what you said. But do you also do this, or you just have an experience of it?
mhm. Both of them. So I have studied within the Past Life Regression Academy, which is based in the United Kingdom, and I have followed all their specialization courses in order to obtain my diploma, and this was 8 or 9 years ago. I don't remember exactly.
Yes.
And during this period of time when I was under training and afterwards, I had this, let's say, almost moral duty to heal myself because when you usually start your path as a therapist, no matter the alternative medicine branch you choose, first of all, you should start with your own personal healing.
Absolutely.
So this is a
Yeah.
very important step. So of course that I start with my own personal healing and also within the years of training, we did a lot of practice within our students group, and we did a lot of sessions, one for the others. And then I also started to practice myself as a past life regression
Mhm.
therapist. And then my two, let's say, professional paths. This one of, let's say, holistic therapist, I would say, because I have also studied Reiki and bioenergy therapies and reflexology and so on. So this path as a holistic therapist and the other one of arts marketing, so it's quite a different
Yes, yes.
approach. Um, were blended during the last 15 years. Also because I'm a mother and there were periods of time when I had to dedicate more to raising my child and I didn't have always the
Mhm.
time to do both of them. So
Right.
there were periods of time when I did both of them in parallel. There were periods of time when unfortunately I had to dedicate more to my main professional path to arts marketing and so on. And of course, during the last years, a lot of my time was dedicated not only to therapy itself, but to write, to preparing, then to writing and to
Hmm.
promoting my book, and then also to creating my podcast.
Okay.
So,
So hold on a second, because you mentioned so many things. I don't want people to miss it. So first thing, tell me the name of your book.
my book is called Being Pyotr Ilyich, Tchaikovsky's life, remembered by himself, let's say, 130 years later, after his physical disappearance on Earth. And
Okay.
it's a book that was issued from my own past life regression therapy sessions. So
Beautiful.
I discovered as a client, let's say, as a patient, I discovered this past identity. And then after releasing my book, because I received a lot of questions from persons who wanted to understand more about how this book was born, about how regression therapy works, about all the main topics that I'm discussing there: life missions,
Right.
the spiritual
Mm.
path here and in the world beyond, what's happening between lives in the afterlife, how is birth or death seen from the spiritual point of view, from the higher self's point of view, and so
Right.
on. I decided to develop a podcast which enters in greater details than the book itself
Right.
and
Okay.
develops all the topics discussed there.
Okay, so I've also been regressed a few times, so I'm pretty aware of like who I used to be in different times. So my question is, you had some sort of emotional awakening during your own past life. Is this the one that sparked the book, or was there something else that, because I know that we don't only live that one life, we have many of them that kind of overlay. And I know like when I'm reading Akashic Records and I'm channeling angels for people, I tap into the one or two lifetimes where that lesson brought back into this lifetime to integrate. So for you, what was the one, if you want to mention, that kind of inspired you to say, this is what I have to clear in this lifetime, or this is my mission? What's the one that you mentioned that kind of moved you along out of fear and into this journey that you're on now?
Oh, that's such a difficult and challenging question. So until now, I have explored during the last 10 years about 35 past lives
Right. Okay.
of myself.
Yes.
So there are a lot of them.
Okay.
Um, I understood that some of them were, let's say, more important than the others
Right.
in relationship to my current life
Lessons.
script.
Yes.
It's what I call, let's say, active karmas. So
Right.
I think that some of them greatly influence my current life script, and the others are, let's say, secondary personalities,
That's
secondary
right.
avatars, which influence, but
Yeah.
in a much, let's say, much less important proportion
Yes.
my current life.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
Two of the most important past lives that influence me a lot are the one described in the book. So my past life as Tchaikovsky, and in a funny way, this is why I'm still working in arts marketing, because as a matter of fact, I'm promoting classical music
I
for
was going to ask you, do you play music in this lifetime?
no, I don't, but I'm all the time working with classical music and musicians.
I see.
Uh, so
Okay.
I'm working for the most important symphonic orchestra in my country. So I'm always dealing with composers, classical music,
Okay.
and musicians. So it's
Beautiful.
it's of course that this is something which didn't happen
Yes,
by mistake at all.
absolutely.
And in a very interesting way, the second past life, which influences me greatly, is connected with this pathway,
Yes,
with spirituality and
yes.
with therapies and with religion, because it was a past life. In ancient Palestine,
Palestine.
let's say, Jesus Christ
Yes.
life and happenings. And generally speaking, a very interesting fact that I noticed about my own spiritual path during these 35 past lives is that I was either a woman, and unfortunately, on earth, generally speaking, until later times, women did not have a professional path.
Yes, yes.
But if I was a man, and I was a man many times, of course, I had all the time two professional paths, and only two. And this is fascinating within hundreds of years of
Yeah.
history. I was either working, let's say, in the artistic field. So I was an
Mhm.
architect, I was a painter, I had
Mhm.
many
A
lives
lot of
connected with
creativity.
music,
Mhm.
yes. Or the second option, let's say, I always had to do with religion and spirituality.
Hmm.
I was a Catholic monk twice. I was a
Hmm.
Buddhist monk in the Himalayas.
Hmm.
I was an Orthodox monk. I was so all
I'm
that I
an
was.
Irish monk.
So you see, it's
Yes.
such a small world in the end. So I visited so many religions from within.
Yeah.
So I'm clearly as a spirit very much keen on everything that is very closely connected with the soul, expressed
I
either
believe.
in
Yeah,
religion and spirituality or in arts.
I see.
So it's something that, let's say, is like a main thread in my spiritual path. And I think that this is one of the greatest things I have discovered during the last 10 years, that I'm now perceiving my way not as let's say different, completely different past lives, but as one unique life as a spirit
Yes.
divided in chapters which
Yeah.
are my past lives.
Yes.
And now I see each connection between each past life and how they bond one with the other.
It's so similar because I also have that same thing where I have experienced so many different types of religions and backgrounds in my soul. And I find that, like, I find the connection of all is the connection to God and the compassion thread that runs through all the religions. So I look at a religion as the way that you're choosing to practice a certain thing. But in this lifetime, I'm so broadly minded that I know that if it leads to God, and the connection is with your higher self and your soul, it leads you forward. So it's not just like that one tunnel, you can only go this direction, because we're missing so much wisdom when we don't look at the other world religions and the thread
Yes.
between everything. And I think that's the missing part. And that's also, I believe, when we separate groups of people, you're this and I'm that, it separates us and we forget that we're all one soul to God. You know, we're all connected and we all forget that because we're looking at who doesn't believe this or that. And
Yes, of course.
it separates us. What is your country? You said you work for your country that with your music. What country
Hmm.
are you from? Are you from the Middle East? Or are you from you for your
No. I'm from Central Europe, from Romania.
Romania? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I had a Romanian uncle. Yeah. 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 Very cool. Yeah. So when did you come? So right now, where do you live? Do you live in the United States? Are you in? Because I noticed your phone number is Arkansas, but I don't know if that's where you're really from. So
No, no,
are
no.
you you're in Europe? You still live
No,
in Europe?
yes, I'm still living in Europe. I did some of my studies in France,
Okay.
where I dedicated myself especially to arts marketing. For example, I worked for the Cannes Film Festival, and I also came in the United States in order to pursue a specialization course in opera management.
Okay.
So you see, like
Yeah. You're
my
very
pathways
diverse.
are like this.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
for the time being, I'm living in Central Europe, but who knows?
Yes.
Life is unexpected, so
It sure is. It sure is. I loved I was telling you before we started broadcasting, I'd been in Italy and it's like it's my homeland because my ancestors are from there, but I felt like I belonged there. So when I arrived, I'm like, everything makes sense here. Like nothing makes sense where I am. Everything makes sense in Italy. And I just felt like very like it was my home heart, you know? So yeah, I would love to go back and just immerse in it for a while, learn more of the language and just loved it. But yeah, so many lessons. Me too. Like I came from a background, I have a business degree and I have a background I taught for 32 years. I was a school teacher. So I have a background in that. And I also have like, the writing, the books, the music, a lot of things similar to your journey. And I think that's like this lifetime, I believe for me, is like a dump of all my past lives and all the clearing and all the things like the loose ends I'm tying up is what I feel in this
it's
lifetime.
yeah, I think for a lot of us, this
Yeah.
life is a kind of conclusion, let's say.
Yes.
It's a moment when we, all of us, tend to analyze, of course, for many of us in a subconscious way, everything they have done, and
Yes.
I think that all of us are trying to clean everything that
Plain.
was
Yes.
left unclean,
The old karma.
and that's why so many therapies are thriving all the time,
Oh my
and
gosh.
so
Yes.
many therapists appear and so on, because people do need a lot of healing right now
I believe it.
in this period of time we are living.
Yeah. I know the last cycle we just left was the clearing of karma, the snake year, in Chinese medicine.
Mhm.
And now it's the horse. They're firing us up to move forward in lots of ways. What are some of the ways you personally do yourself to keep yourself clear and grounded? Is it your movement with your dance? Is it outdoors? What is it that you practice that helps you stay clear and grounded?
I have a daily ritual, let's say, which is based mostly on, let's say, energetic techniques. Some
Hmm.
of them issued from Reiki, some
Okay.
of them issued from other branches of alternative medicine, including acupuncture, for example. So
Hmm.
I'm cleaning. If you want to point a few specific techniques that I'm using, I'm cleaning my main chakras on a daily
Hmm.
basis. If I feel, because I have a very developed perception of my own energetic field, and I feel when I have some specific energetic meridians blocked, and then
Yeah.
I clean that specific meridians when I feel they are blocked. So, for example, if I had a difficult day and I was nervous a day ago, I'm always cleaning my gallbladder meridian, which is closely linked with fury and nerves and frustrations. Um, I'm always aligning my subtle bodies.
Hmm.
I'm always grounding myself. I
I
have
do.
noticed that you are also insisting a lot on the idea of grounding, and
Clearing. Yes. Yes.
I'm trying to clean my energetic field uh, um, from any thoughts, from any disturbed or negative
Hmm.
energies that might be there. And I'm doing a short meditation and a short prayer. And I have this kind of ritual almost on a daily basis. And I always add some breathing techniques.
Breathing is good. Yeah, I start
Yes.
my day with a prayer, and I end my day with checking my body to see if I've collected ambient energies with thoughts or anything. I've done some color work with, laying hands because I'm a Reiki master teacher. So
Mhm.
laying hands on the chakras and kind of aligning with my body to see what's out of balance. So, as a healer, I also teach that to my clients. And those things are not like general knowledge for the people that aren't in our field. So that's why I believe like when we come out to the world, part of what we both do is educate people on how they can help themselves after they leave our office or after they leave a session with us. So when your clients come to you, do you mainly do the regression with them, or is it a sort of alignment and talk? What can they expect if they book a session with you?
During the last 2 years, I dedicated most of my time to my book and my podcast. So during the
Okay.
last 2 years, I worked only with family and friends speaking
Okay.
about therapies. But generally speaking, when I approach therapists, I suggest people, first of all, to go to the main root of a particular problem. So
Hmm.
to because I think that we are first of all souls and not
Yes.
bodies. So
Yes.
in the first instance, I think that the most important thing when you have a particular problem or blockage is to go to its emotional root. So
Yes.
this is why generally I suggest starting with regression therapy, not
Yeah.
necessarily in a past life. It might be in the
Yeah.
current life if the
Yes.
if
Yes.
the cause, the origin is placed in the current life.
Right. Right.
And then I'm also suggesting to add energetic therapies in order to
Mhm.
help that blockage
Release.
go out, and in order to have that blockage um, be eliminated from all the subtle bodies, because we
Hmm.
have more subtle bodies, of
All the,
course,
yeah.
and it's very important to help, for example, a person, I don't know, who was murdered in a past life,
Yes.
to also release the anger or the fear which might be blocked in the kidneys, if we speak about
Yeah.
fear, or the anger that might be
Yeah.
blocked
And
in
liver.
the liver and the gallbladder,
Mhm.
and some work on these specific organs and
Right.
meridians might enhance and enrich and help the client surpass easier and faster
Yes.
that
Yes.
emotional blockage. And
Yeah.
in the end, there are also persons to whom I recommend a physical therapy, a
Right.
specific kind of acupuncture or medical massage and so on,
Right.
if I think that it's
Yeah, that's good.
suitable. So all in all, I think
Oh,
that we
goodness.
need to be helped on many layers
Yes, I like
because you are made up of many
that.
layers. So, but
Yes.
of course, it depends on each client's chemistry with the specific
Yes.
therapy and therapist in the
Hmm.
end.
I totally agree. And I know that, that's why there's so many of us that do different things. And one of the reasons why I started my podcast was to let people know there are all different types of people, healers, light workers that are shifters that can help you in different ways. And I always say if one person doesn't resonate with you, there's someone else who might. Like if I might not be someone's person, someone else that does something similar to me might be their person. So, there's no competition. It's all just we're helping each other. What is the name of your podcast, Chris?
My podcast is Time Traveling.
Love it.
Yes, and the subtitles is A Spiritual Journey of Healing,
Yes.
because I'm seeing myself to some extent as a time traveler. So
Yes.
I travel through time in order
Right.
to understand my own history. And when I felt with all my heart that the answers that were offered to me from below, let's say
Hmm.
from the world above, excuse me, I thought that I had an almost moral duty, an almost
Hmm.
sacred duty to pass all these answers on and to offer everything that was shared to me
I believe that.
to the
Yes.
readers too. Because in the end, I think that we have quite similar dramas. So our life are not so different as they seem at a first
Hmm.
look.
Yes.
And I think that all of us have great disappointments, great moments of sadness, depression states,
Yeah.
moments when they lose someone very dear,
Absolutely.
impossible loves, and so
Oh, yes.
on. And
Yes.
so I thought that everything that was shared with me in my life as Tchaikovsky was not not only the story itself, but much more than this, the spiritual view from behind the
Yeah.
story itself.
Yes.
So
That's true.
let's say the point of view of the higher self, because I saw my life from a completely different and more profound and more complex point of view than you would analyze a classical composer's life.
Yeah.
I saw myself from a very human point of view, from a very intimate and personal point of view, and everything that was connected with my life mission and all the, let's say, all the whys
Yeah.
behind my life story made me to share this story, because I didn't want to bring in front another book about the life of a great
Yeah.
composer, but I wanted um, to create, let's say, a very important example of how our lives on earth are in such great detail conceived in the upper realms. So
Hmm.
let's say a look from behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
that's what I received and what I wanted to share with the others.
Yeah, I believe a lot of us that are light workers too, we are really passionately drawn to what we need to do. I think that that's part of our mission is we use whatever we've learned in our life to enhance the lives of other people through our own lessons. So I always find when I'm going through something really difficult, right after me and I'm figuring out the lesson, the next person will be there and they need exactly that lesson. So I know it all kind of goes together as healers that we transform our lesson into lessons of light instead of lessons of darkness. I think it becomes darkness when you don't learn from it. So even our most terrible things we go through, if we learn, then we can move ahead. We can help other
Yes.
people with our lesson. So that's quite beautiful. Let's see if there's anything else I was going to ask you. You're such an interesting person. Um, do you feel or do you have a connection to your guides and your angels after your past life, or did you always have a connection with your guides and angels? I'm asking because I'm an angel communicator, and I just love that we have these guides and angels that help us, and a lot of people don't know. So I'm going to ask you if you feel this connection, or is it simply higher self-information and Akasha?
Um, I started to discover my connection with my spiritual guides within regression therapy sessions.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of it before.
Okay.
So going into trance helped me to access these very profound layers of my being and of the worlds beyond.
Okay. Good. Good. Interesting.
So this was how I discovered and how I became conscious about this very strong bond.
Yes.
Speaking about the name I give to these light beings, I think that it depends a lot of each person's beliefs and
Yes.
life experiences. I do interpret, I do think that what people call angels, I'm calling spiritual guides, but
Yes.
I think that it's just a name. The idea is quite the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. The
So
guide. That's true.
yes. So
Hmm.
I always feel that I'm assisted and guided.
Yes.
And I'm always guided both when I am under trance as a client and when I am under trance as a therapist.
Yes.
I always feel that I'm guided.
I believe
Moreover,
it.
moreover, each time when I'm practicing as an energy healer or as a Reiki healer, I'm also guided.
I
So
believe I am too. And I know like the feeling is like sometimes the angels will take over my mouth and they'll give me just the right words to say to that client. I'm like, where did that come from? But
yes.
sometimes it'll just blurt out of my mouth and it's like it's exactly what that person needed. And other times I'm just told to like hold back. And it's amazing how when you allow this loving energy to come in, how we're guided to help each other. So that's so
Yes, and what's very interesting, speaking about your own work that I'm appreciating very much, is the fact that perhaps not many people understand this, but when you do a regression session, there are two main parts, let's say.
yeah.
First of all, you navigate through the most important moments. So, in a
Mhm.
nutshell form, you see the story itself with the
Yes.
most important moments
Yes. A
which
lesson.
create that lifetime.
Yes.
But then the second part, which I found more interesting and even more important than the story of that life itself, is the healing part
Mhm.
when you connect to the world beyond and when you meet the most important characters, let's say, that
Yes.
were
They
with you in
recycle
that.
back sometimes, right?
Yes. And when you express all the emotions that were blocked and you say everything that was left unsaid and you release everything that, because that's the main
Yeah.
idea of regression, to release everything that was left in you and that
Right.
was unexpressed, and then you meet your spiritual guides or your angels or the divine, depending on your own beliefs, and they are communicating you some very important messages regarding your past life and the connection with your current life.
Yes.
And what's important to understand, so all in all, the second part of a regression therapy, I would say, that is mixed a bit with channeling, because
Yes. Yeah.
as a matter of fact, you are hearing and you are telling to yourself and to the therapist
Yes. Yes.
what your spiritual guide is
Your soul.
explaining to you and it's showing
Absolutely.
to you.
So, do
So,
you work virtually or in person or both?
in person, all the time in person.
Person. Okay. I was
Yes,
just curious. That's
and
beautiful.
I'm a bit classical from this point of view.
Yes. That's good.
I know that nowadays there are a lot of things going on online, and this is
Yeah.
wonderful. But I do think that some things should be
Yeah.
done face to
Yes.
face.
Yes. Yeah. I understand that. Okay. Do you have any last words before we close today?
Uh, it's um, it's so hard to say. The divine creation is so complex and
It
so
is.
great that it's so hard to have
I
some
know it's
only
okay.
a few words.
Yes.
I think that um, nowadays each of us should be as open-minded and as flexible as possible. I think
Mhm.
that flexibility is a very important thing that we should all learn.
Yes.
Because, as you very nicely put it earlier, it was too much about separation between us.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that nowadays each of us should listen to the others as much as possible. No matter if we speak about therapies or
Hmm.
no matter what
Hmm.
any other professional field, we should learn from each other and leave the ego a bit behind.
Yes. Yes. That's beautiful.
I think that's the most important thing, because in the end, life is made up of human meetings, first of all, and that's the most important and the nicest thing that we may experience in a lifetime.
Beautiful. So, Chris, how can people contact you? Do you have a website or a place to
Yes,
find you?
yes. I have a website, chrisnielsenbooks.com, where they also have my email address, and I also have, of course, my social media official pages on Facebook and Instagram, and my YouTube channel where they can listen to time traveling podcast, and
I
also
love
on Spotify and Apple, as you are
that.
also broadcasting.
Yes. That's beautiful. So, when this posts, please share because I hope people will find you and find me, and it'll be
Yes,
beautiful.
of course.
And I thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It was an honor. It was such a pleasure. And
Thank,
I wish you all the best in your work and in your life.
thank you. And this has been the Lightwalker's Path. Learn more about my workshop sessions and books at rosemaryd.com. And thank you so much for your time today.